morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. How y'all doing? It's Kaiser, and if it's not another day, it's another day where Disney decides to go ahead and just step in the shit. Because I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Well, that's what Disney's going for anyway, and so, well, as if they have not had enough controversy going around with the Snow White remake and Rachel Zegler constantly opening her mouth, well, they've decided to go ahead and step in it once again and decided that they're going to remake and modernize and change yet another upcoming Disney remake that has got a lot of people already up in arms. And yeah, again, I don't even know what to say about this other than just call out what it is. It's absolute dog shit. So, what movie are they remaking? What's going on? Why is this, a thing? Well, we have to just go ahead and call out call out the elephant in the room, or in this case, the deer, because yes, they are remaking Bambi for live action. Live action. They're doing a live action remake of fucking Bambi.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, I had about the same reaction. I'm just like, for fuck's sake, stop with the live action remakes. Jesus Christ, just stop with the live action remakes, please. And it doesn't get any better because as I'm sure you can see by the title there, Disney's live action remake screenwriters say today's kids' parents triggered by Bambi's mom's death. Yeah, they want to change that whole thing because they're triggered that Bambi's mom dies, which again, if you've even seen the original movie, like I have, um, that happens primarily off screen anyway. It's so ridiculous. So, Lindsay Anderson Beer is the screenwriter who is working on this absolute piece of cinematic garbage. Now, I want to make a quick note here. So, Lindsay Anderson Beer is the person who is a screenwriter on this project. Let me go ahead and show you a little something interesting about this person. So, Lindsay Anderson Beer, who I'm just sorry, I'm going to come out and say it, looks exactly like I thought that she would, being a screenwriter on this absolute garbage. Yeah, has only 2 movie credits to her name. Her entire filmography is 2 freaking movies. Yeah, that's not a typo. That is literally her entire filmography is Sierra Burgess is a Loser. She was a screenwriter for that on 2018. And that movie had a 59% with critics, a 29% score with audiences. And she recently wrote Pet Sematary Bloodlines, where she was a director and screenwriter for. That one has a rating of 24% with critics right now. Look, even the critics are already like, yeah, this is absolutely awful. We don't want any of it. So the question then becomes, if that's the case, then why in the hell are letting her make a friggin' Disney movie if she has 2 movies to her name and not a single one of those has gotten over a 59% score with critics and has not gotten above a 29% or 27% with audiences? Well, we're just going to go ahead and show you right here. So Pet Sematary Bloodlines only holding a 24% out of 25 reviews right now. Feels simultaneously overstuffed and truncated, always in such a rush to get to the next plot development that it barely has room to breathe and fails to at a successfully prequelizing, well, anything. Yeah. So this is just, yeah, all these reviews, they just absolutely do not like this movie. So pretty sure this one is going to bomb pretty hard. But yeah, this is the person that they've got to write the upcoming Bambi live action movie. I'm just, what?
What? What the fuck?
Oh god. Now, for those of you who are probably going to be absolutely losing your shit at things, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the trigger warning of your head might explode because this is going to be really that fucking dumb.
Hold on to your butts.
And Anderson Beer said the original Bambi was not or has not been seen by a wider audience of young viewers because of the way it handles the death of a parent. Quote, not to spoil the plot, but there's a treatment of the mom dying that I think some kids and some parents these days are more sensitive about than they were in the past. And I think that some of the reasons why they haven't shown it to their children, she says. Beer said the new live action Bambi will have, quote, more of a scope to it. And just like that, it to be able to bring to life for kids these days in a way that maybe they relate to a little bit more would be a service to the original. Disney, why do you constantly do this? Yeah, why do you do this all the time? Bounding into Comics has already got this one talking about too. So, live action Bambi writer says film is being made so kids, quote, relate to it a little bit more, hence that it will soften Bambi's mom's death. So, yeah, they're even getting in on this one too. So, Lindsay Anderson Beer, who currently is promoting her Pet Sematary Bloodlines film, which recently shared why she believes the upcoming live action Bambi should be made in the first place. Beer was asked by Collider's Perry Nemiroff, quote, I guess the question often is like, why? Why do we need another one? So go back to how you described Pet Sematary. What is something about the classic version of Bambi that you think is important to hold tight to, but also are you going to answer the question of why? Why do we need a new version? Yes, that is an amazing question. Why the heck do we need this one? Why do we need a retread of a classic that doesn't need a retread? Disney, why do we need this? Why do we need a remake of friggin' Bambi? Let's look at the remakes that you've had in the past. Let's talk about Pinocchio, which was a giant fail. Let's talk about Little Mermaid, which was a giant fail. Let's talk about, let's see, you've got the upcoming, let's see. Oh gosh, what are other movies? God, Disney, you've had so many fails this year. It's hard for me to keep track of all your fails. Seriously. It's really hard to keep track of how much failure you are just exuding from every pore, Disney. Beer answered, well, quote, well, that's interesting about Bambi. To me, it's that it's absolutely a classic and it's beautiful. A love poem with such artistry to it. These weird commas in weird places. I do think there's an entire generation of children who have not ever seen the original, and that's very different from, say, Little Mermaid or Aladdin or the 90s heyday films that they've definitely already seen. I can't tell you how many kids who've never seen Bambi's, which is such a shame. Okay, I would agree with you on that, because, I mean, it is an animated classic, and I think it deserves to be seen. She continued, quote, the thing is, it's such a gorgeous film. It's a bit different tempo than modern audiences are used to. Also, okay, totally agree with you on that. I mean, it's a bit different, but I mean, different is not always bad. Yeah, from there, Beer showed as they shared why she believes the children have not seen Bambi, and it's the quote that we already read over there on Breitbart. The treatment of, not to spoil the plot, there's a treatment of the mom dying that I think some kids, some parents these days are more sensitive about than they were in the past, and I think that that's one of the reasons why they haven't shown it to their children. But I think that there's a way to update Bambi. No, 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 no. Stop updating everything. It doesn't need to be updated. It's a classic for a reason. She goes on to say, quote, and our take was, I was like, and our take on it was, did give a little bit more of a scope to it. Like, okay. I think she was trying to say, all right, our scope did give a little more scope to it. Again, these are quotations, so they sometimes are not really well structured thoughts. Go figure. And I just think that to be able to bring to life for kids these days in a way that maybe they can relate to a bit more than the service of the or in service of the original. Okay, whatever. So yeah, this is absolutely just god awful, and nobody wants this. And it's surely and rightfully started off another rage as another round of controversy. The New York Post even covering say Disney's move to modernize Bambi sparks outrage. Yep. So Disney has recently come under fire for its recent updates to animated classics, which included casting Black actress Halle Bailey to play Ariel in the live-action version of Little Mermaid. I would argue I didn't particularly give a shit about the casting. Okay, it was a little bit jarring, but I mean, you know what? I think the fact that they absolutely just dumbed that movie down and completely changed the fact of it's supposed to be a love story was actually more egregious in my opinion. Just saying. The Mouse House's upcoming Snow White replaces the Seven Dwarfs with magical creatures of all sizes and genders. Yep, you replace the dwarves in Snow White and the Seven Dwarves with Snow White. Oh, I'm sorry, Snow Brown and the Seven Diversity Hires. Yeah, Alison Beer's plans to update Bambi set off another deluge of criticism. Gee, I can't imagine why. Yeah, and a lot of people on Twitter and whatnot, because I still refuse to call it X, have kind of really have actually gone on and started saying, yeah, they don't want this. Say this was probably the best of the quotes that I saw. So down here, so a recent, or say, yeah, this was the one I was talking about. So dragging out classics from the graves and putting on shiny new clothes to squeeze a little more money out of them is disrespectful to their legacy. You're meant to be a creative company. Just stop and go create. As if any of this wasn't bad enough. So then, yeah, I mean, that quote, and then of course we get into this section here. It says a recent poll from Redfield and Wilson Strategies found that the majority of respondents preferred if Disney created new stories rather than plunder its archive of remakes, according to Newsweek. So, what they're saying in this right here is that an actual polling location, like people take like those broad polls, asked if people would be preferred if that Disney just created new and new original work, or if they just continued making live action remakes. And unsurprisingly, people said they would much rather Disney stay away from remakes and just make new stuff.
No way!
Yeah, I know. Disney has already put advisories on older shows and movies in its streaming service, Disney Plus, warning of potential offensive content, and even putting age limits on such classics as Dumbo, Peter Pan, and the Aristocats. Yeah, because again, as this whole article suggests, that people these days are too freaking soft and too freaking weak to deal with things as they are. They want to change everything. They want to dumb everything down to the lowest common denominator so they don't outrage or offend anybody. So that's why movies that actually were made at different times, even if they have themes that don't really mesh today with, quote, modern audiences. They apparently, they're just going to slap the offensive content labels on those, but now they're just going to go ahead and remake the originals and try and, push those out there. Because what's going to happen next is that you're going to start finding ways, or start seeing on these streaming services, they're going to start to kind of make those old animated classics a lot harder to find. And imagine that, then what you have is people that have never seen the originals, and all they've ever seen is the soulless live action remakes. Come on. This is ridiculous. Nobody is appreciating what used to be anymore. Anyway, folks, that's all I've got for this. Thank you so much for watching to this point in the video. Definitely go down there, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And I have new videos 5 days a week, and I've also got live streams on Wednesdays and Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.